It has been very interesting. I have had a chance to attend a few conferences online and in person as a guest speaker and as a workshop leader. So I have been busy um, providing value, enriching my content so the seeds that I plant in the minds of the audience will grow and blossom to beautiful masterpieces of their lives.
That's a whole lot there. What do you got going on, Nick? Thanks for smiling and joining in. You look great. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. I feel like, the last few weeks, a lot has happened health-wise with me, and I feel like I'm just starting to get out of that forest a bit, and I'm thankful for that. I'm still been experiencing a lot of pain, and where there's pain, there's opportunity for healing. So just trying to keep that perspective, but it's wonderful being here with the two of you today, and I really hope you're doing well. So I can't wait to hear about Greg. I know you've been experiencing something this weekend and this week sharing in a special experience at a camp, right?
Yeah, yesterday I had the privilege here in Southern Ohio. Shawnee State University is a big thing, and it's among the top 10 colleges in nursing. So kids come from all over America. One of the department professors, Marcia Harrison of psychology, started an inner city Time Out for Me group for summer kids. It's her seventh annual. It's a 501c3. And bottom line, she takes the unfortunate kids to do the things that middle income or well off kids can do, go to Kings Island, go camping. So she rented for about 40 kids the Shawnee State Lodge, which is a local resort. I sent you guys pictures of the brochure, and the venue's beautiful. And people have conferences there all the time. So a conference was for them yesterday with four speakers. I was speaker number two. I followed a guy who gave them education on artificial intelligence, and they're all glued to their phones and their laptops. That I come in, and we talk about three simple principles of life. And I was more encouraged. The questions they asked blew me away. The group, male and female mixed of kids from all variety, all races, ethnicities, from age 10 to about 16. And kids are smarter than I was when I was their age. I learned a whole bunch, and be sharing with that. Mark, I followed you at a couple conferences on Facebook and stuff. Where you been or haven't been? Tell us about that.
Well, I also experienced the joy of being heard. As a speaker, this is one of those great joys that we get to tell part of our experience. And I understand that I know that sometimes when we share part of our journey, we heal and we learn, like, oh, that's what happened. And just, because it's in your head, it's very difficult sometimes to process. But when you write it out or when you speak it out, and then after you like, oh my goodness, yes, that was me. This is what I learned. And this is so much joy in speaking. I think everyone can share a part of their story, their origin story, so others can see themselves in it. It's healing, it's self growth, it's sharing your gifts with the world. So that's why I know this is art of encouragement. So I'm encouraging you, everyone who's listening, look at Greg. He affected lives at the Shawnee State rally, as he have said, and I watched your video. And look at Nick, how he's affecting lives, and look at myself as well. There's power in learning how to speak with grace and humility and humor and purpose. So I invite everyone. I think 2024 should be the year of public speaking. So I invite everyone to reach out to us and say, you know what? I want to be a better speaker now. Guide me. And we say, yes, you raised your hand. Let me give you a high five first and let's go.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we have to be intentional about is ensuring that each and every day we are connecting with others, that we are intersecting with people and sharing with them the best versions of ourselves, but also helping them to realize the best version of themselves.
I spoke about a lot of that yesterday. Early childhood days, how I was this big when I was your age, and they all laughed. I said, well, maybe not that big, but I spoke about body awkwardness. I grew tall. I was didn't fit in, didn't think I was good at anything until a basketball come along in gym class one day. I took him on that journey, and I ended up in college and different things. And I got a lot of feedback from that because the um, simple principle that I was sharing was if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. I used to watch the ball bounce by because I was a short, chubby kid, played hockey in Wisconsin. Then I grew faster than my age group, but I thought basketball was interesting, and that ended up getting me a chance to go to college on a scholarship. So I took them on that journey. I got a lot of feedback from that, from boys and girls of different ages and different body types, and really encourage them that you are the light in the room. The room minus you doesn't know anything about you. You are the light in the room. If you're big early, embrace that. Show other kids how it's okay to be big and still be a part of things. And the feedback and the questions blew me away. But with that, Mark, I'll take it back to you. And how to be intentional, Nick is saying, and how to be vulnerable. You lead with vulnerability a lot, don't you?
Yes, I see there's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. Sometimes I feel that I'm just repeating what I heard someone tell me 20 years ago. And at the time, like, oh, that means nothing. Oh, what? Oh, that. And now I'm like, that is pretty wise. Let me repeat it back to the new audience. And the audience, like, whoa, how did you come up with it? I didn't come up with it. I just listened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And now it's coming back up. So I'm just saying it's nothing is new under the sun. That's why we have to be alert and intentional. You asked me about vulnerability. I think everyone's journey into vulnerabilities is different. Some people are very vulnerable, some people never vulnerable because I think it's frowned upon because you expose yourself, you make yourself weak and vulnerable, and people are like, oh, I don't know if I feel about this. So I don't have any advice there. I just say your journey into vulnerability is your journey. If it resonates with you, do it. And I also think that a lot of times, like you said, we're afraid to take action. Somebody constructed a reality for us, or we constructed it, and we put ourselves in this reality, and it's so much, and it's so um, paralyzing. It's so paralyzing, and you don't grow. And when you don't grow, then you disintegrate. So I want everyone to grow and break through the realities that the cage somebody built for you or you built yourself.
How do you think people identify that threshold, or how do we help people identify that threshold and break through it, Mark? What's in a way that's encouraging to them instead of breaking them down and saying, hey, you're not here?
You know what I think? Yeah, that's a great question, Nick. I think everyone knows what they need to do. And they know the cage they live in or the limitations they live in. And they know it. The difference is most people don't do anything about it. Nothing. They just, oh, it's nice. What if then? But I think everyone knows, but I think
You
it's the
think that
action.
is that because they're safe and they're secure in that place? Hey, it's their mind. They've lived in it for many years. And a lot of times, like when I'm working with singers, especially, I often introduce a method to them that they've never heard of, they're afraid of, and they immediately dismiss until they trust me enough as their leader and they understand how I use it, both for performing piano, singing, and every other thing. And it's a method that involves signals and hand signs and things they've never thought of with music. But unless I demonstrate how amazing this approach is and how it's helped me, they're very resistant to something they don't know and don't see. I use the Kodai method of solfege, and most people have never heard of it, yet it is growing rapidly across the United States as the number one way for teaching internalization
Mhm.
with music. And it all involves signals, hand signs, and a professor introduced this to me when I was 17 years old, and it changed my life and the way I approached music. It's what took music off the page for me. It's what allowed me to be able to play by ear. And again, until I demonstrate the impact on my life, people are afraid of it. So if we want to teach people to go beyond their thresholds, right?
Yeah.
One of the things we have to do is demonstrate. We have to live it, but we have to show people our methods occasionally. And when I demonstrate how I approach music for the first time, and it's like nothing people have ever seen, but then they hear my music and they see how fast I learn it, they're more open to it. So, how can we translate this? I'm going to go completely away from music now. How can we relate that experience to encouragement? How can we live while sharing and teaching intentionally?
I did a little bit of that yesterday on the very core principle. My point too is if you don't move forward, you'll always be in the same place. Again, the venue and the kids I'm talking to. So if you didn't think you want to be a cheerleader because of your body type, you pass the opportunity. No, it's still there. If you don't move, it'll pass you by. I use myself as a couple examples. But when I went from juvenile detention to public school to college, I had to finally just put myself on the basketball court from the chubby hockey playing kid. I was terrible, but I was good at rebounding. And I found out the rebounding controlled the game. And the coach liked rebounding. Then they taught me a little layup or a little hook shot because I was bigger than the other kids. And from ninth grade to my senior year of high school, that's my big shot in the newspaper, the Milwaukee Journal. We won a sectional game to go further than we ever had, was on my little hook shot. Something I never knew, had stepped beyond the place that I was or forever let it pass by. And it was not a construct like Mark was talking. We can be in our own minds. We can be told that, or we can just think, I've never done it before, and it's scary. And what I did was I used a little vulnerability, and I'm talking to these people as a father figure, as a son, most likely a grandfather figure. And I was introduced as Minister Greg McClinic from the Church of the Nazarene Williamsburg. So they're expecting all kind of counseling things. Then I took my jacket off and I started talking more about, let's talk about how I began. And then I led to that point. And I proved the three steps that if you simply go forward and you believe that you can have it, stop asking people. You were told something when you were 17, Mark, or a teenager, Nick, rather, when he was 17, and he said forever changed his life. The core truths are just that in life. Nothing new under the sun. Core truth travels and it's universal. So when I figured that out, talked to you guys last week and the weeks before about how to go in and talk to this youth group, conglomerate of kids I've never met, I felt as home as I'm talking to you now on my living room couch or anywhere else I'd be talking. Because when you show people that you were afraid and you did it, they start raising the hands and they start confessing that I did, but I want to now. And in that transition, I'll pass, Mark.
And there's a lot going on here today.
A whole lot.
It's a lot going on, and I think there's a meeting of the minds, showing, not just always telling, but showing, like how to different techniques to play sports, case basketball, and also teaching people music. you know, I took music lessons many moons ago. I unfortunately don't practice and I don't remember anything. So the intentions of my parents were great, but I don't remember anything. So no, I'm not crying about it, but
Oh, I
maybe
am. I'm so sad you don't remember anything, Mark.
well, it's and now, it's maybe it's not my path. I know it's your path and many other people. So I just feel like whatever your path is, explore different ways of delivering information. Whatever your path is, be the best in that path. Look at look at people who are leaders, emulate, ask different industries, from do like a cross pollination from adjacent and opposite industries and bring it into your business. So music is not for me, but it is for you, Nick. So you have to be the best in it. For me, it's speaking, right? So I have to be one of the best in it. So whatever it is that you choose, you got to be the best, and don't be stuck in just one way, right?
Absolutely. And understanding that everyone isn't going to intersect with your passions, with your hobbies, is one of the things that make the world go round. Although you and I share the same passion for public speaking and that sort of thing, I realize my passion for music is typically part of my public speaking, and it finds its way into my messages because that is totally who I am. And that's one of the ways I express it is as a public speaker. Instead of being a public speaker primarily, I am a musician primarily. And I'm so thankful that I've learned how to craft my message so that it can speak to people who love music and people who maybe enjoy listening, but they're not going to take a lot of time to learn an instrument. That's like you said, that's just not part of their path. But they love it, they appreciate it. There are very few people when surveyed that absolutely do not like music. I think it's something like 2% of all people just do not like music. And so I I'm kind of thankful for that.
I kind of stole the idea. I've watched you guys for well over a year now, and your different postings and surveys, Mark on improv class and many things. You're always asking. And that's one of the things I partied with the youth group with yesterday, that if you don't ask, the answer is always no. You will never KNOW. It'll always be a no because you don't have the information yourself and you don't ask. And I ask right across the group, who has a tough time with math? Most hands went up, boys and girls, different ages. I said, imagine if we didn't ask the first time we had a math problem in class. We went to 1 plus 1, we know it's 2. We went to subtraction, then we went to multiplication. When I got to division and a couple grades later, you wouldn't raise your hand in class, but you still wanted to know because you knew inside of you, if you didn't know and you asked, you could receive instruction and you could get better. Who is afraid of math now? Not really afraid. Who doesn't like math? No, and their hands went up. So we figured out who likes it and doesn't like it, but we can all do it. And that's the passions we're talking about here. When I told them, you have to have math, you have to have communication skills, you have to be able to socialize in order to be the light that you are in the room. If you're quiet, you can be a dimmer light until someone gives you an opportunity to shine. And I just tried to be as individual and specific as I could with them on a common truth. Math is difficult. If you do not ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you'll never know how. And if you don't go after it, you'll never have it. And it was just a resounding effect for me because it reminds me of the things I'm currently working with, whether in life. As soon as I leave, I get a text. Can I appear at a church for a family whose pastor had a mother pass away this Sunday? Yes. I said yes immediately. What's going to happen Sunday? Exactly what is going to happen Sunday. I'll be preparing for that. I didn't say no to the short term challenge. I embraced it right away. So it's got me in a good comfort zone to say yes. I like to plan things way off and have it all figured out. But I've crossed that bridge. Improvisation is a strength. I love speaking and I love hospitality. I love going in the crowd and talking to them before I am up front talking to them. I just love people. And that was the thing I was so afraid of for so long in my life, Mark.
Okay, so I have a couple follow-up questions for you, Gregory. Did you say you were afraid of people just now?
Oh, yeah. Well, my whole life, because I was big and awkward. I would find something to perform in sports, um, in the street as a young kid. I learned quick street fighting. Didn't do a lot of it, but I was older kids and stuff. I'd accomplish that. Hockey, I was bigger, so I could skate well, and I would always hide in a performance thing. If I performed well and you clapped, then I was somebody. But I would not get in front of people and do all that. It'd always be out of an antic to draw attention, all negativity, complete opposite of who I am today, completely.
Wow. So that has been such a big journey you had to earn, to learn, to
Yeah.
accept yourself just as you are. And I think that journey of true self-acceptance is the biggest gift you can give yourself outside of, like your spirituality, right? Like you accept yourself, and I think a lot of people are waking up to realization that self-acceptance is a big deal. The people pleasing, the shame, and all that guilt, but a self-acceptance is something. And I've been on that journey too, just self-acceptance, because there's so much negativity in the world. The news, oh my gosh, it sucks you in, it doesn't let go. And then you like waking up and you're thinking, why can't I sleep? Oh, the news. Okay, let me cut off the news a little bit.
Self-acceptance is vital for progress, understanding your weaknesses as well as your strengths. But I think above all, loving yourself is the only way to make progress. And that is understanding where you just are not good in life, where you have those shortcomings, identifying those, as well as looking at the things you do well that you're so passionate about, the things that drive you, pouring your passions into those, and loving that you have this human experience right now, and you're gonna have these things, you're gonna have those things, but you can never just have the bad or the good. We never have days where it's all everything we want to do and nothing that, and days where we have to work diligently doing things we don't want to do because that's just what we do. That's part of this experience. And so many people want to veer away from things they don't do well or just things they should do, but because they don't enjoy it in our entitlement world today, instead of just buckling down and getting to it, they avoid it. And then it piles up and it adds up and it's there and it becomes this thing, and just do it. What's
This
that
is
thing?
such a good
What's that
thing.
thing?
I was just thinking about it today in business, right? Some of the early stages and other stages as you cycle from startup to growth, the founder, the owner, the CEO, the chief executive, a lot of times is the biggest bottleneck, right? Oh, and I cannot admit I need help. As soon as you admit it, say, okay, I'm not good at this. I may be good at this, but I want this, but I need help. I think as soon as you admit it and ask for help, okay, you reach the next level in Mario Super Brothers. You go to the
That's
next
it.
level.
That's it. You hit the nail on the head. It's saying, help, I don't do this well.
what
And
I
I
say.
certainly,
I've
I
learned
found,
that's the only way to go. For me, there are a lot of skill sets I have. You guys know them. I'm gifted in several areas, but there are areas where I do not do well. And I surround myself with people that do those things well because I don't want to get behind.
and getting behind, you mentioned, it creates another thing. It could go from a fear of not knowing how to do something to where I taught the kids, I was teaching about a time in my life where I was just stuck, and I was stuck in a certain mindset. Well, I ended up way away from society and everything in a prison that I earned. The wake up call was one day, how did I get here? Yeah, the events and the choices and the drug addiction, but what was really the core in that? And then when I unraveled that, I looked in the mirror, as I told the kids, you're better than that, dude. You believe you're better than that. And I threw in to be the best I could in the worst possible environment. And then the magic in life and divine intervention took place. And here we are today. Why am I sitting here talking about encouragement? Because encouragement, if it's anything, it's first with self. Loving self is one way to say it, but self encouragement, saying, I don't do that well, help me, whether it was in recovery, getting through those steps, whether it was in technology, not knowing how to do anything, and coming from the abyss of leaving in 97, returning in 2019, and someone handed me a cell phone, and I thought it was a pager until I had to ask every step along the way. No, you unfold it, it's a phone. And you can come from the caveman to super technology and AI. I followed a guy from AI yesterday, and I didn't know anything about that. The kids probably grabbed something. But I stepped into the piece that I had. We all have the same universal truth. Ask, but you'll never get the answer. It'll always be no. Step forward when you can, or the opportunity pass by. And if you want something, you must go after it. I've practiced those things. I don't know where it's going. It's going other than where it is today, and it's going forward. That I can encourage everyone with, including my wife. We're going forward.
Greg, Nick, I got every time I come to this broadcast, I take away an action item. There's so many, but I always take something. Like, what am I going to do at home or in my relationship? Today, I'm going to admit I don't know something. And I'm just going to say, I don't know. I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to listen. Will you help me? And I'll stop talking. So I am encouraged today. You know what? I'm going to call this meeting my brothers in encouragement. That's what I just came up with that. So I don't know if you guys like it. We can try something new next week.
You're muted, Nick.
Of course I am. It's that kind of day, guys. But, I didn't want to miss another week. I thought about saying, guys, I'm still not feeling up to it. I didn't want to do that today. And I'm glad to be here. And you guys do lift me up. You encourage me. I'm thankful for my brothers and encouragement. I'm so proud of both of you. I'm proud of you, Greg, for being able to share your message with so many different audiences, for using that skill set I saw you developing and just delivering beautifully now. I'm proud of you, Mark, the way you go out and you speak to so many different audiences from around the world. The way in person, online, hybrid, you want to help people communicate better. That is your legacy. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for knowing that, hey, I want to be the most efficient communicator I can be, because I believe your mission and your passion is also to bring others with you. And thank you for bringing me on your journey of excellence and for teaching me what you've taught me. And for now, those times where I'm helping to coach other people, it's powerful when I think of what you would do or what some of my other coaches would do, because that's your legacy. It's when you teach someone something and then they carry on your method. They remember you, they say your name. Well, Mark Guy, when I was working with him, taught me this. That's, you know, that's part of your legacy, Mark, and I'm thankful to be part of it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
we're
Thank you, Nick.
and we're so thankful for all of you, our viewers who watch us each and every week. Please invite your friends. We want to encourage them as well. There's some slots open for some guest positions on here. We want to feature as many people as possible. We're filling up now for August. So if you want to join with us and be part of our brothers or sisters in encouragement, we would love to have you. We would love to have you on here with us, and we hope you have a great week. We'll see you next week on Friday morning at 10 a.m. right here.
Have a great week, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.